Well, hello there again. So, one of the things that was asked is how do I replace my web page if I'm doing a S3 static website? So, let's go ahead and do that together. So, the first thing we need to do is start our lab. So, once again, if you have a full AWS account, you don't start your lab, but you're paying for it as well. So, I'm going to come here, go to modules. I'm going to start my lab so I can get into S3. So this replaces what most people would be doing, which is logging into their Amazon console. And this is so that students can play, poor students can play for free. So once again, there's $100 here. That's great. So while this is starting, let me talk to you a little bit about EC2. So EC2 actually allows you to keep different version of things, but only display the most current. So there's a lot of features and functionality that you can use here. Sorry, not EC2, S3. S3. S3 also allows you to take something that's old and migrate it to other cheaper storage. But S3, I'm gonna really slaughter that this time. But S3 is pretty cheap. So if we look here, let's just do a quick S3 cost. So if we look here at Amazon S3, the cost here is, of course, there's free tier. You get 5 gigs for free, and then there's some pricing. And there's get and put requests as well. So if you look at the storage, trying to look at the actual price, right here. So it's just loading. So the first 50 terabytes a month are just over 2 cents per gigabyte. There is a request to retrieve it, so you have to pay for the request, and then there's a data transfer. So there's different things that add up, but I'm trying to help you understand it's very little. We're talking about pennies for most things a month. So if it's a big site that gets hit often, that's of course, you're gonna start to get the data transfer and stuff up. But request retrievals, you're less than a cent for thousands of requests. Storage, 2 cents per gigabyte per month, a little over 2 cents, and it gets cheaper when you have more. And so there's a lot of different pricing things here. But so our lab started, so we're going to get into AWS and go to S3. Now we could do this with the CLI. So we're going to save that for a future one, because that would make it a lot easier for most people once it's set up. There's a new console home. They're always changing things, so these videos are going to be outdated the moment they're posted. So I'm going to go to S3. I'm going to find that one that I created last time. So once again, in this learner lab, it stays around. A lot of the others, when you end the lab, it disappears. But we can see here, here's my web bucket that I created in an earlier video. And index.html here. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. This is just something I grabbed from W3 Schools. So this is the actual endpoint right here. So maybe I've decided that instead of this, I'm going to come to this responsive page and I'm going to do Bootstrap instead. So I copied this, but let me make sure it's there. So I'm just going to copy this again. And the first thing I need to do is I need to edit it on my local system. So I'm going to pull up on my local system my index.html that I want to upload. And I'll bring it over. You know, I have brackets installed, but I'm going to just use a text editor. I prefer to use just a text editor. Oop. And I lost it. There it is. I prefer just to use a text editor. That's just kind of who I am. But I'm going to go ahead and paste. This is the Bootstrap page here instead. So then I'll save this. And then I need to upload it again. So I come over here to my web bucket, and I'm going to just again drag and drop it. So I'm going to drag and drop it over, and it's named the same, so it's going to overwrite the one depending on my settings. And I do usually need to go to permissions and grant public access, because they're trying their best to make sure that you don't do that by mistake. So it's succeeded. So now if I come back to this page and I hit enter, it's now Bootstrap. So all you do is you upload the new file. That's what you do. So there's not a way to edit it really here in place. Now there is a way to sync between a local folder and what's there in the cloud. And maybe I'll record that video in a few days if I can, maybe next week. So we'll talk to you later.